Hello and welcome to a very special edition of the Theme Park Trader podcast. This week we are dedicating the entire show to Halloween Horror Nights 32, and we were so lucky to be able to get the chance to go to a very special Horror Nights themed event in London, the UK. Yes, we have Universal events here in the UK, and we got to meet the fantastic team at Universal, and we got to meet Laura, who we're going to be interviewing in just a second. You will hear that interview, and we got to chat all things Horror Nights. We got to reveal so many more details about the event that aren't covered in all of the house descriptions and scare zone descriptions that we're going to be chatting through after the interview. So we're going to kickstart the episode with the interview itself, and then you're going to be looping back to a very special guest who's going to be sitting down discussing all of the houses and scare zones and tribute store and everything that's going on this year, as well as our hype list and everything else. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the podcast. Okay, right. Well, thank you very much for joining us.
Of course.
Do you want to just give a quick overview of your role and
Sure.
what you do? Yeah.
My name is Laura Sauls. I have been with Universal Orlando for 27 years. I started as a singing and dancing Bride of Frankenstein. Started with Halloween Horror Nights in 1998.
Okay.
And have been with Halloween Horror Nights ever since. I lead the team that creates all the fantastic, horrific things that you see in Horror Nights, but we also do the entire holiday program, do Mardi Gras, do Grad Bash, 4th of July, New Year's Eve.
So you're busy.
Yeah, but we love what we do.
Amazing.
We love what we do.
Amazing. So I guess first question is, can you take us as much as you can, like behind the scenes, and give us some insight into kind of the creative process behind Horror Nights? So, I mean, what are the key considerations that you have when designing and planning the event?
Well, we start planning well over a year before the event. Typically, over the last several years, we started as soon as the event opens. We've already started planning for 2024. We started that on July 5th.
Wow.
So we're getting earlier and earlier every year. But really, our IPs are kind of, we give our leadership IP considerations that we'd like to do. Some IPs come to us. And once those IPs are kind of slated out for us, then we go into what we call a creative brainstorm time. And that is all the show direction team. That's the team I get to lead. And then our senior scenic designers that build these and create these beautiful scenic pieces that are just truly incredible movie quality sets. They're in the room with us. And then our two character designers, character developers, they're in the room with us. And we just throw out, now that we have our IPs, we know what that slate looks like. Then we just throw out any and every idea for an original content house. For original content scare zones, for an overall theme. And it takes us about 5 days. And it takes 5 days to do that just because everyone has such beautiful ideas, right? Yeah. And what we love about that room and those 5 days is that we come out of it and we don't know who had what idea, but we all know that we have 5 to 8 ideas that we can present back to our leadership. So that's kind of how we do the initial creative process.
It feels kind of like a writer's room.
Yeah, 100%.
Like a little treat.
And our whiteboard looks like a beautiful mind. It's got things all over it. And we pride ourselves on when we all feel like this is an idea that we can get behind and that we all love. We put it on big Post-it boards and put it all over our conference room. And then when our leadership comes in, we're like, okay, here what we're going to present, and we kind of present it that way. Just hitting highlights of, what are the aggressors? What are the victims? Where are we going to see? Like what scenic places we're going to see? What are some of the effects that we might see in the house? So it's a really cool process. And then we kind of split up into teams, and you'll have a senior show director and a senior scenic designer as a team, and they start to develop the houses that we want to develop for that year. So they'll start to really figure out the whole story of the house. They'll really start to figure out the 9 to 10 scenes of the haunted house, and kind of lay it out in the best way possible. And the scares, of course, when we lay out the scenes, that lays out kind of the scares. So we go into concept development, and then we go into our scenic designers go into SketchUp, and we go into treatments, and then we start to bring in, and after that we start to bring in all the partners, our production partners, our tech partners. We start to work with marketing. We start to work with merchandise. We start to work with foods and visual merchandise, and all of our partners start to come in at that process and really make make the make the process even bigger until we get to we're running the show.
Yep. Amazing.
Surprising it starts so early when all of that.
Yeah.
all of that's going
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
And if people can probably hear that Ghostbusters is just
something strange in the neighborhood.
So, I mean, you've collaborated with so many different kind of IPs that sit outside of Universal's ownership in the past, and you mentioned there that some will approach you and some others you will approach them. Kind of, how do those partnerships enhance the event? I mean, we mentioned before we started recording that Stranger Things is what brought us to the event, and I know lots of people that said to me for years, Ryan, just go to the event, you'll love it. And I was like, oh. I remember when I was there with my friends and they said, you need to go.
Yeah.
And I didn't because I was too scared. Stranger Things brought me in. But how do you kind of decide which properties to feature and which ones maybe don't feature?
Well, I think we always want a diverse slate of content. So we say if we have a slasher in an IP, we can't have a slasher in an original content house. If you we just want that diversity in all of our content. So really it is selecting the IPs that we know our guests will want to see. It's selecting the IPs that we know will just make a rich haunted house, right? It's selecting IPs that give us that diversity in our slate of content.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, this year for me, like if I hadn't been before, The Last of Us, amazing, love that video game. Stranger Things, if obviously people can't see, but I'm wearing a Stranger Things shirt. And also Chucky is my favorite, I think, horror icon. So to see him returning at the event is amazing. Is there kind of, how do you cater for like the different segments of the audience and create kind of experience that resonate with everyone? Because I think you've got lots, as you said, with lots of fans of slashers like Chucky. Then you've got The Last of Us, which is a huge IP, especially this year with the TV show, and as well as Stranger Things, which is continually to be Netflix is one of Netflix's biggest shows. So how do you kind of make sure that you're catering for those different audiences? Because I think you've got two very different types of audiences there. You've got the real kind of hardcore horror fans that I think probably lean towards more of the original houses. I mean, there's a couple this year that, I mean, they all look great, but Julian Dragon's making a return, looks really cool. And then, it seems to be that horror fans get more excited about those original houses, but then, bringing in franchises like Stranger Things and The Last of Us is kind of bringing in new audiences. Is that how you see it, or is it just kind of appealing to different types of people?
100%. I think when we started Walking Dead, we brought in a new audience. When we introduced Stranger Things, we brought in a new audience. When we introduced The Weeknd, we brought in a new audience. Like all of those.
And that was a great house, by the way. Like,
I love.
And I wasn't expecting it to be that good.
Yeah, it was great, right?
Yeah, amazing.
And it was unique and different. But all of those different IPs are bringing in a different audience to Horror Nights, and we absolutely love that because we jokingly say that, we have these IPs that bring them in, but then our original content seals the deal, right? Then they're just wanting to come back for more to see what IPs we bring in that they'll absolutely love, and then what our crazy brains are gonna come up with original content houses, and then to speak about the super fans and the casual fan and the newer fan. I go back to really diversifying the content. We go back to trying to diversify the content so there is something for everyone.
Yeah.
If we don't have any IPs if our IPs don't have a lot of blood, guts, and gore, we know one of our originals has to have that blood, guts, and gore because we need to check that box.
Yeah,
right?
Makes sense.
We really try to make the content slate as diverse as it can be. That way there's something for everyone.
That makes sense. And I've noticed actually the last few years that you've really started to lean into, I suppose you can call it IP, and then it's your IP, in Universal Monsters,
Mhm,
and it's
mhm.
been really cool to see the houses that
Yeah.
the teams come up with there.
Yeah, because what I love about working with the Universal Monsters is we've been able to tell uniquely different stories that have never been told before with these monsters. I talk about the Bride of Frankenstein house, the Bride of Frankenstein Lives. That was a brand new story. No one has ever, that was never out there in the world. So being able to tell those new stories, last year's house, that was a brand new story that no one had heard before. So again, being able to tell new stories with the classic Universal monsters is so exciting to us, and we love to do it.
Yeah, no, and they're always great houses, to be fair. How much effort do you put into the Easter eggs? I mean, in the original houses, there is so much in the store that you have temporarily up every year. There is so many Easter eggs. Like, that must take so much time to kind of plan that out and figure out. Sometimes you're revealing stuff as well, but you don't want to reveal too much about what's
Mhm.
coming in the future.
Mm-hmm. We absolutely love our Easter eggs. We love to see what the guests see. Like, right? Because we fill the event with Easter eggs as much as we possibly can, and our visual merchandise partners definitely lean into Easter eggs in the tribute store. They love it. But we ultimately like to see what the guests are realizing are Easter eggs, right? Because if no guest sees the Easter egg, it's not really an Easter egg, right?
Yeah. But the tribute store has so many hidden details.
100%.
And some, I'm out there maybe once, twice a year if I'm lucky, and don't get to spend an awful lot of time in the tribute store. So I'm always watching videos of people looking through it, and the details that goes into just the tribute store alone is just unreal.
And the partnership that we have with visual merchandise on that tribute store. I mean, last year's tribute store, we worked hand in hand to make sure that their dark ride was linked to Major Sweets and his story. And there were in their tribute store, there were some Major Sweets kind of things and little Easter eggs in there. This year we're doing the same thing. We're working closely with them to make sure that what they're doing for their facade and what people are seeing on the exterior matches the scare zone.
Yeah.
Which is really exciting. And those could be seen as Easter eggs because that's visual merchandise putting up, entertainment content within their tribute store. But then they go deep into even unique ideas of their own.
Yeah, it makes sense. I'm really excited to see the tribute store this year. Can you share like a particularly challenging or kind of unexpected obstacle, maybe avoiding the obvious COVID, that arose during the planning or execution of a past Horror Nights event, and how you resolved it?
I mean, there are many times that, we have IPs that we have built a whole haunted house, and sometimes we have to change the house. We've done that a couple times, and we love doing that. We love those challenges. Or an IP comes in late and we have to figure out how to make it happen. I remember, and this is going way back before you came to the park. I remember I was show directing Scare Zones, and we created this whole concept of Scare Zones for the park, and we had it all developed, we had it all sketched out, we had it all written, we're ready to roll it out, and we were brought in and saying, we're going to do Walking Dead around the whole park, and we were like, oh, okay, let's go. It's a challenge, but we're going to do it. And we did it. And it was amazing. And that year's Scare Zones were incredible. But we love those challenges.
Yeah.
Those challenges we don't see as even challenges. We're like, we're going to take it on as a new thing and we're going to run with it.
Sounds good. And I suppose kind of last question really, what are your favorite kind of aspects of Horror Nights, and do you have any memorable stories or experiences from past events that you'd like to share?
Oh, there's so many.
I know it's a difficult question.
I mean, I like to see people getting scared. I was telling a story today to a few people that, like, one night I was leaving, this is many, many years ago, when I was leaving work, and it was dusk because I'd worked during the day because, so we kind of do dual when it's operating. And I was leaving and I heard this lady screaming. And I'm like, ooh, that sounds way too good for me to walk away from. And I turned around and I stood there, and I ended up standing there for over 25 minutes because it took her that long to get to the end of the scare zone,
Wow.
and watched her get scared by every single character in that scare zone. And then noticed her whole family was watching her from the park bench across from me.
Mm-hmm.
And when she finally got out, she fell on that park bench and was like, I mean, she was in tears and she was laughing and she was crying and her family was laughing. And I'm like, that's why we do what we do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's why we do what we do. And it is always like, she was screaming her head out. But when she sat on that bench, I mean, she had tears rolling down her face, but she was laughing so hard.
And it's amazing because that's something that I actually like to do. You know, between houses and scare zones, I grab a drink and just step back for a second and watch the horror unveil itself as people are just, you know, especially, you know, the chainsaw troop kind of chasing someone, and they will go for that person that continually likes to run away, and it's definitely part of the entertainment of the night.
100%.
It's amazing.
We're a little bit voyeuristic when we're at Halloween Horror Nights, right? We're a little bit, you know, it's happening to us and it's immersive to us, and we scream and we laugh, but then we also sit back and watch others just be terrified. And it's pure enjoyment.
And Dan's seen that firsthand because that's happened where I've been the one to.
Oh yeah, especially in that first year.
Yeah, I actually grabbed someone in front of me that I didn't know, and that was a bit embarrassing. But I have become a lot more customized to the event now, and I love it. And you know, I always make an effort to go every year. So it's so
We're
good.
glad.
So yeah, thank you very much for that. That was really good. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you all. Thanks.
Okay, so you've heard the interview that Dan and I did with Laura, but now Dan is not here. Chucky has taken him away for the weekend, and you're laughing at my jokes already. This is good. And a returning guest of the show is back, my wife.
Hey.
What was that?
That's me not being very sure about talking into a microphone.
Well, you're talking into a microphone, so I'm still not sure. Those who've just listened to the interview will hear how unsure I was talking into a microphone, despite having done it for about 7 years. So we're talking Halloween Horror Nights. You just heard Laura talk through the event itself, all the planning that goes into it. Now we're talking about this year's event. Dan and I went last week and learned loads of new details about the houses, some of which are in the press release, some of which are brand new, and as far as we can see, no one or very few people have actually covered. So we're going to be going through some of those. But, I mean, to start things off, Donna, how much do you know about the event this year?
Well, you've told me bits and bobs, but I can't say how much I was listening.
So Donna doesn't know anything about that. We were watching a Tim Tracker video.
Oh yeah, I listened to him.
How much attention were you paying to him? Or as you like to call him, Kermit the Frog?
He sounds like Kermit the Frog. Can't help it.
I'm not sure he does. So Donna knows really very little about the event, despite attending it this year. Should we go through a quick run through of the houses?
You want to?
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter what I want. We're doing it. So we've got The Last of Us, Stranger Things, based on Series 4, The Exorcist Believer. Hold on, I'm going through the list. Chucky Ultimate Kill Count. Universal Monsters Unleashed, Dr. Oddfellow Twisted Origins, Julian Dragons Choose Thy Fate, Yeti Campground Kills, The Darkest Deal. Apparently Phoenix is a fan of that one. And Blood Moon Dark Offerings. Which of those houses is on your... Well, in fact, should we go through the descriptions of each house, and then we can decide what our hype list is for the year?
Yes.
You meant to react to when I'm speaking.
Just make up your mind.
I just made up my mind. Okay, let's go through the houses. I'll share a little bit what we learned from earlier in the week if our son decides to go to sleep. So, starting off with The Last of Us and what we know about the house so far, it's set in Pittsburgh, Donna's favourite city in the States.
Is it?
No, I was making it up. Pretty much all of the enemies from the game are going to be present in the house. So we're going to have clickers, other things that I can't remember. Where are we? Runners, stalkers, clickers, hunters, which are the humans, and also I think Laura said bloaters as well, which are the big fat ones that kind of explode. Going to be going through the kind of Hotel Grand, dark and dank city tunnels, and I think this is pretty cool, but Donna will probably not agree with me, that the original voice artists from the game have recorded lines just for this house.
Well, that's pretty cool, to be fair.
Yeah?
Yeah.
There you go, she's impressed.
I'm
So,
still not forgiving them for The Last of Us 2, though. So
yeah, you're not a fan of the second game, but this is based on the first game.
good.
It is not based on the TV show. They made that very clear at the event. I mean, it was known anyway, but apparently everyone in the room, it was news to many. But based on the video game, there is nothing from the TV show in this. I mean, despite obviously all of the scenes in the TV show being based on the game. And I think that's pretty much all we know about the house so far. Phoenix is a fan.
Yeah, you come into that one.
He's going to come to that one. We're not actually taking him to the event before people write to us and
Only because we can't.
try and do us with child abuse. Now on to Stranger Things, which is probably a house that you're pretty excited for.
Yeah, I am. I liked season 4 of Stranger Things. Thought it was really good.
Yeah, and we did. No, you didn't do the first house, did you?
No, I did the
You
second
did
one.
the second house, which I did tell Universal straight to their face wasn't as good as the first house.
Well, see, I really enjoyed it, but I
yeah.
hadn't seen the first house.
It was good, but it wasn't as good as the first house, and they did kind of agree.
Okay.
So I think it's pretty well recognised that the first house was better.
I mean, if you see Vecna in this and all the people being crushed to death, I guess.
Crushed.
Yeah.
Oh, the kind of
Breaking of the bones.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how they're going to do
It'd
that.
be a little
but-
bit scary.
So, what we're going to know is what I learned about this one. We are going into Vecna's Curse. They worked very close with the Duffer Brothers throughout the planning of this house.
Well, it would be a good one then.
And as you heard from the interview, there's a lot of planning that goes in. They do work as closely as they can with the creators of IPs, and they worked very closely with the Duffer Brothers on this one. Really leaning into Vecna, which means we're going to be seeing Vecna more than 10 times throughout the kind of walking around of this house.
10 times.
Yeah. Okay,
Will it be as scary if you're going to see him 10 times?
Well, we'll have to wait and see. We know that Eddie's trailer will be included. The Upside Down is going to be included.
We like a bit of Eddie.
So we're probably going to be shouting, "Chrissy, wake up," at some
Are
point.
we?
No? Don't remember that scene? From Eddie's trailer?
What, when he does it, when he shouts it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She doesn't really know memes and things like that, so some people listening would have got that.
Okay.
Hawkins Lab's going to be in it, and we're also going to see Eddie and Dustin fighting. Presumably Eddie's going to be in the Upside Down on his guitar. There's some Metallica going.
Nice.
That's what we know about that house so far.
Looking forward to that bit.
I want to know if Running Up the Hill is going to be included.
Yeah, it's got to be.
We were talking about this last night. Hopefully they've secured the rights to the song, unless it's a Universal owned song anyway, which is possible.
Is it?
Well, Universal has a music label in the 80s that was pretty strong.
Maybe.
Less so nowadays.
I mean, it's kind of what made the song famous, isn't it, to our generation? So
Well, I mean, yeah, okay, you saved yourself there. I was going to say
to our generation and younger.
we're going to get some serious hate mail from hardcore Kate Bush fans now.
I mean, did you know that song?
Yeah, I know Kate Bush.
I didn't say that. I said, did you know that song?
I did know that song. I mean, it's been about 10 years since I'd listened to it, but I did know that song.
And now it's on your regular playlist.
It is on. Yeah, I mean that show brought that song back into like the charts. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, that's my point.
So I'd be surprised if they didn't lean into that song. But I think this house is going to be cool. Season 4 I loved. I think it was probably my second favourite series after Series 3.
What happened in Series 3?
Never Ending Story. It was all set in the mall, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, that was good. Season 4's the best one, though.
Yeah, I think Season 4 is the best one.
And
But,
Season
well,
1.
no, I stand by Season 3.
Season 1's really good because it was different.
Yeah, Season 2's pants, though. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah, I stopped watching it.
Yeah, I had to force Lana to watch. So, well, not, but I wasn't holding it down or anything. But I got a look there where I'm not sure if I should pause the podcast or not. But we're going to carry on. That's how dedicated we are to recording this show. Next on the list is The Exorcist Believer, another IP based house based on the upcoming film by... Who am I thinking of?
No idea.
Blumhouse. It's going to be coming... So the first time you can walk through the house, it will be 7 weeks before the actual movie comes out. So Universal are describing this as like a walk-in trailer for the actual film.
That's a pretty cool way to describe it.
Yeah, pretty cool. I mean, I'm not that excited about... I mean, we'll go into our kind of hype list, but I'm not overly excited by this one because...
You don't like The Exorcist?
Well, I don't mind the original Exorcist, but like I haven't seen this film, so it's hard to be excited about something that... I mean, Phoenix is absolutely hitting the microphone right now, if you heard that. He's not a fan of The Exorcist, clearly. But so it's inspired by the upcoming film The Exorcist Believer. Purchase of a strange doll with 3 eyes at a street market in Haiti. Haiti?
Yeah. No idea.
Leads to the opening of a demonic portal, awakening evil spirits. Meanwhile, 2 girls disappear in the US and are found a few days later with no memories. After exhibiting unsettling behaviour, it becomes clear that an exorcism is the only thing that can save them, and until then, anyone who comes into contact is at risk of losing their souls.
Sorry, they bought the doll and then got possessed.
No, you didn't listen to any of what I just said.
I mean, Phoenix was hitting the microphone at the time.
That's true. Yeah. So we're going to be seeing Catherine and Angela and the demon that possesses them. There will be an exorcism at some point. Funny.
What's the doll got to do with it?
It's... I don't know. I can't remember. We're going to be entering the demon's world, and there are going to be multiple demons in the house.
Mm.
So yeah, I know, like
It's a bit standard, isn't it?
just yeah. Next on the list is Chucky Ultimate Kill Count, the one that was announced way back at the last day of Halloween Horror Nights last year. So I think the house that's been announced with the furthest time window ever at Horror Nights. Phoenix he's determined for us not to record this podcast.
I mean, we might have to pause it and rewind it to see if it actually recorded.
It's recording. We are recording. Oh, there he is sneezing. Like, the professionals don't have to deal with this, is what I'm saying.
I mean, you could be part of the Exorcist house tonight, couldn't you, mate?
Yeah. So it's going to be heavily leaning into the sci-fi series. We're going to be including some kills that we've seen throughout the franchise, despite it leaning into the recent sci-fi series. So fans of Child's Play will probably see some of their favourite kills featured. And the backstory for this one is really weird. So everyone's favourite killer doll will once again be reigning terror in his very own haunted house for the first time. Don't let the freckled cheeks and bibbed overalls fool you. Chucky wants revenge and respect, as his peers don't take him seriously. You may think you can outrun his tiny legs, but very few escape the blade of his trusty knife. Heidi ho, suckers.
Yeah, it's a bit scary, this one.
Yeah, so what the story is, they've invited the actual Chucky to the house, and I quote Universal here at the event, Chucky's not happy with the arseholes at Universal because they're not actually killing people in these houses.
Oh, I thought it was that he hadn't been invited.
No, they're not. He's not happy that they're not actually killing people.
Oh,
So he's decided to basically put his soul into every Chucky doll in the house and actually kill people, including people that are walking through the house, including people working inside the house, including Universal team members. So this house, I think, is going to be crazy because you're just not going to know what's going to happen.
So are there going to be people walking through the house that are actors?
I presume so.
That's going to be scary.
Yeah, I presume so.
I may poo my pants a little bit on that one.
Oh yeah, I presume this one sounds pretty crazy. Now, we also know, again, details from the event that we were at. Universal have purchased a total of 500 Chucky dolls, with 250 going on the West Coast and 250 going on the East Coast. So there are 250 dolls in the Universal Orlando house alone.
That's just asking for trouble, isn't it? 200 Chucky dolls.
And Charles Lee Ray has put his soul into every single one of those. The real name of... Yeah. Just making sure.
I got that, thanks.
We also know there's going to be an 8-foot Chucky wielding a chainsaw at some point in this house.
Might not go to Universal that day.
So I'm really excited for this one. I think it's going to be a really cool house.
I'm terrified.
Yeah, I mean, I am as well, but I love Chucky. He's my favourite horror icon. So for him to get his own house, I can't wait to go through it and see what he has in store for us. The final...
I mean, my point still stands that what if some random person got in to pretend to be an actor in the house and decided to kill people?
Well, they do actually, like... the Universal team members have to go through the same security checks we do,
Doesn't mean anything, does it?
and the things that they wield in the houses aren't real,
Oh yeah, I gathered that much.
apart from in the
Thanks.
Chucky house.
Wow. Okay.
The final IP house is based on Universal Monsters, and it's called Universal Monsters Unleashed. You're in the catacombs of Paris, and they're now open to the public. But little do guests know that the most notorious monsters, see if you agree with this, these being the most notorious monsters: the Phantom of the Opera, the Hunchback of Notre Dame, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and the Invisible Man are lurking 60 feet below the infamous burial grounds, filled with rage that the labyrinth home is now being invaded by these trespassers.
I mean, the Hunchback of Notre Dame is not a villain.
Well, yeah, but you're thinking of the Disney movie.
Right.
I think in the traditional tale, he's not particularly kind.
No, I don't agree with that.
Well, you might not agree with that, but I think you're wrong.
I don't think he's a villain, though, is he?
Well, I don't know. Universal, at the event, they have made films based on all of these characters in the past, in the last 100 years. And who are we talking about? The Hunchback. They have made a Hunchback film. I haven't seen it. Maybe we should watch it. It is an old film.
No.
I know how you
Can't do
feel
it.
about old films.
I can't really comment on the Phantom of the Opera either because. I don't
Well,
know.
we met the Phantom of the Opera. If anyone wants to go to our Instagram or Twitter page to search for Theme Park Trader, and you will see Dan and I meeting the Phantom himself.
I thought he was just a normal person in a mask.
I think we are showing perhaps how limited our horror knowledge is. I don't think he's just some random geezer in a mask.
I thought that was Megan was at this.
Well,
Universal.
Megan's still rumoured to be a flash mob, but hasn't been confirmed
Oh yeah,
or denied by Universal at this point.
that'd be quite funny.
So we know that there's a curfew. We're breaking the curfew, and all the monsters are there and pissed off. I mean, I'm pretty excited for this. I think the monsters that they're choosing here are different to the typical Universal monsters like Dracula, the Mummy, Bride of Frankenstein. I think it's interesting, but I wouldn't say I'm like overly excited about this house.
Yeah. Sounds like-
Then we get into the original houses. Oddfellow was confirmed to be the icon at the event that we were at.
That sounds confusing. That story.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to be a real hardcore Horror Nights fan to understand Oddfellow, but we know, I mean, the research, limited research that we've done.
Via Tim Tracker.
No, this is at the event. That he is immortal. He uses the Zodiac the Dark Zodiac to collect his power and become immortal. And he was involved in the creation of the famous Jack the Clown, who Donna's never heard of, but
Famous this year.
No, he's been at the event for years and years.
Oh really?
Yeah.
But Oddfellow hasn't.
Well, I think Oddfellow's been there in the background every now and again.
But he's not an icon.
Well, he is now.
Yeah, but he hasn't been before.
I don't know.
Okay.
Christopher Ripley, by the way. If anyone wants the background, go and buy his book. I've got it. I've read it, and I obviously need to reread it because all of the lore and stuff is in his book.
What is it? Halloween Horror Nights?
It's a Halloween Horror Nights, like a historic book covering of every year from the start to very recently. So Jack the Clown was kind of born through scratching Oddfellow in the face and taking some of his immortality. And Oddfellow has the ability to shapeshift. And any time that you see him in his not traditional form, just keep an eye out for his face because he will have the shape or the monster that he is pretending to be will have a scratch on his face. He is confined to that scratch whenever he tries to shapeshift now, thanks to Jack Schmidt, or Jack the Clown, as people know him.
I mean, the reason him and Jack the Clown got into a fight in the first place was Jack the Clown was killing the patrons of the circus, isn't it?
I can't remember if it was Jack the Clown that was killing them or Oddfellow.
No, it wasn't Oddfellow.
Was it not?
No, it was Jack the Clown.
I thought it was.
Oh.
We need to pay more attention to the law. There are definitely people shouting at their phones right now. So the kind of description for this one is: many know the origin story of Jack the Killer Clown. Obviously not us, although we did just share it. But this house will dive deeper into the lore of his evil ringleader and mastermind, Dr. Oddfellow, and his menacing menagerie of twisted oddities. He is as I said, he is the icon for this year. That was confirmed at the event. It was unclear up until that point. So we kind of broke a little bit of the story there on Tuesday night last week. But next house is One I thought you'd be go on.
Sorry, going back to Oddfellow, we're going to miss all like the beginning of that because we'll be at Stay and Scream.
Yes.
That's sad.
Well, it's just him going, "Ooh, welcome to the event." Ooh.
Oh, really?
Well, I maybe paraphrased it a bit.
Surely there's going to be a story.
No, not really.
Okay.
This one I thought you'd be excited for, but when I described it to you, you kind of shrugged, and it was
What was I doing at the time?
maybe you were asleep. I'm not sure. Dueling Dragons: Choose Thy Fate.
Oh, yeah, no.
See.
I didn't like the ride.
Do you remember the Dueling Dragons attraction
Yeah.
at Islands of Adventure? Well, prepare yourself for a horrific twist to the familiar tale and battle between fire and ice. Two warlocks of great power who were turned into dragons after fighting over Merlin's spellbook. You must choose a path and a victor, and it better be the right one. We know this one.
It doesn't sound scary. I think that's my.
I think this one will be really good. I think it will be scary. So
It sounds more thrillery.
they've taken this from the queue line of Dueling Dragons, the kind of story that they wove into the attraction. The Lady of the Lake has trapped Merlin into the enchanted oak. There will be evil trolls, evil fairies. There's going to be a castle when they turn into dragons. Apparently, the lighting effects are going to be awesome. This is from Universal directly. There's going to be fire demons, ice demons, and you're going to, as the house title suggests, choose thy fate. There are 4 endings to this house.
How? What, you have to choose like a pathway?
You know how in the ride you choose between fire and ice? So you're going to...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which ride you've got on, basically.
Yeah.
So you're going to choose one of 2, and then depending on what time of night it is, either I think the Merlin will win, or the demon will win, or the dragon will win. I think that's how they're doing it. So there are potentially 4 endings, which I think is a first for Horror Nights house. And again, that was confirmed to us, the exact number of endings at this event. So we may have actually just broken the story for the first time. I don't think people have definitely mentioned number of endings, but nobody, as far as I know, has mentioned the exact number. But it is 4 confirmed to us by Universal.
So there's multiple different people fighting each other in this one.
Yes.
So you got dragons, demons, Lady of the Lake, and Merlin.
Evil trolls and evil fairies as well.
Okay.
I'm really excited for this house.
Sounds a little bit chaotic.
I think it will be, yeah. The next one is Yeti Campground Kills.
It's so random.
Well, Yetis have featured in Horror Nights before. The last time was like a snowy setting, which is fun.
That's I don't know. That's not what I'm thinking of.
I don't know. What are you thinking of?
I don't know.
Bloodthirsty monsters. So this is Yeti Campground Kills. Bloodthirsty monsters have returned with a vengeance, this time terrorizing a 1950s campground deep within the mountains and ripping apart anyone who gets in their way. So what we know about this one from the event, it's going to be like this year's dark humor house. So Killer Clowns from Outer Space, that house we did together, yeah, was probably one of my favourite houses of that year.
It was terrible.
You haven't seen
really
the film.
bad.
I love that house. And this, that was not scary, but had that kind of dark humour to it.
There's going to be a couple that aren't scary this year, I think.
And this one is going to be that dark humour house. It's going to be a Yeti family kind of ripping people to shreds throughout the entire house, set in the 1950s. So expect some kind of like, oh, gee whiz, Yeti. I reckon that's what they'll be leaning into. And next on the list, we have The Darkest Deal, which I reckon you're probably quite into this because of, what we were saying. This is probably based on the Crossroads Demon.
Yeah.
Blues musician Pine Straw Spruce sells his soul to the collector for musical glory and quickly learns that fame isn't all that it's cut out to be. And
if people don't know why I like the Crossroads Demon, I'm a big fan of Supernatural.
Yes, you are a big fan of Supernatural. I think that's putting it quite mildly. So he signed a deal with the devil to get fame. A blues man who wants to achieve fame. The collector is possessing everyone around and following Pine Straw Spruce. And at some point in the house, again, this was confirmed to us at the event, you will go into hell.
Nice.
So
but isn't it like loosely based on a true story as well? True story.
Yes.
In quotation marks.
Yes, it is loosely based on a
true story.
A true, quote unquote, true story of a real musician.
Are there any houses that the last house I think is Blood Moon Dark Offerings. In a colonial era village, moon worshippers celebrate a blood moon at their fall festival and slaughter those who do not participate. And all I've got here in my notes are colonial town, as I said, killing everyone who doesn't believe. And it's going to be like Dead Man's Pier from last year's event in that it's going to be incredibly detailed. So that's the cool little tidbit that we got from Universal.
Do you think they'll do the song Bad Moon Rising?
I don't think they'll do the song Bad Moon Rising there. The other thing that we got confirmed to us at the event is the tribute store, which people see as a attraction / house in its own right, which I would kind of agree with. It's going to be based on a comic book store in the late 1960s that has been confirmed, and there's a character within it that may or may not come to life.
A character that's well known?
That's all the detail they were willing to share.
It sounds like that's a character that's well known.
So,
what's that one called?
That's the tribute store. You know, the shop.
Oh, tribute
basically.
store.
Yeah.
I
and
hope
then
they don't shut Jurassic Park for that.
Well, no, I think it's going to go in the other area, in the other spot where it usually goes, round by the back of Rip Rod Rocket, near the Mummy.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing we've got is the Horror Night Scare Zones. Every single one of these is going to be based in some way on this year's icon, which is Dr. Oddfellow. So I'm going to go through these quickly.
I do not like scare zones.
Why?
They're
scary.
Yeah, but they're just out in the open.
Losing the name, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but you make me go through them.
Well, that's kind of the point, though, isn't it?
I like the houses.
I like the houses as well, but I also like the scare zones. Especially when it gets dark and there's loads of people around, you're not sure.
Exactly, that's my point. And you have to stay calm, otherwise they just chase you anyway.
Yeah, they do. So we've got Dr. Oddfellow's collection of horror come face to face with the evil ringleader himself as he promises immortality for those who dare to join his tortured troupe. You've got the Dark Zodiac. Seeking his own immortality, Dr. Oddfellow enters a dark dimension to bring the signs of the Zodiac to life and turns them into horrifying horoscope creatures that foretell your doom.
That would be a good house.
Yeah, it would be. Jungle of Doom Expedition Horror. In the 1920s, Dr. Oddfellow ventures deep into the jungle and experiments on Mother Nature and animals. Now his twisted creatures are preying on the bottom of the food chain. Humans.
Oh, lovely.
That's us.
Is it?
Yes. Vamp 69, Summer of Blood, at a 60s music festival.
I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, because we've seen one of the Vamps before.
Have we?
Yeah. At a 60s music fest in a small New York town, concert goers are jamming out until Dr. Oddfellow unleashes bloodthirsty vampires into the crowds.
Was that the really sexual thing?
It was quite sexy, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, no. You're thinking of a different scare zone.
No.
The one that was not far from Harry Potter. That wasn't Vamp.
Oh, okay.
That was the one that's based on famous magician. And the final one is Shipyard 32, Horrors Unhinged. In a 1940s San Francisco shipping yard, mysterious crates and cages turn up with Dr. Oddfellow's symbol. His creatures have now escaped, spreading fear and chaos. And then we also have Nightmare Fuel Revenge Dream, which is the show. And then obviously we have kind of the normal set of rides and attractions that are open throughout the event. I think it's a really cool idea that all of the scare zones are playing into one theme this year. Dr. Oddfellow.
Yeah,
I quite like it.
You just carry it on throughout the park, won't you?
So long as the theme obviously ends up being good, but Horror
Yeah.
Nights usually delivers. And I do think that this collection of houses is the best we've seen in a long time. Certainly,
I've only been to one.
well, I know, but okay, but I've been, we've been covering the houses for a while, even if we haven't been to every event. But this certainly, compared to the last couple of years post-COVID or during COVID, I think this one for me seems to be back to their kind of pre-COVID best.
Back on track.
Hopefully this year delivers. I'm definitely excited about a lot of the houses here. In terms of a hype list, rather than go from 10 to 1, is there a house or two that you're most looking forward to?
You're going to have to read them out to me again.
So we've got Chucky Ultimate Kill Count, The Last of Us, Stranger Things, The Exorcist Believer, Universal Monsters Unleashed, Dr. Oddfellow Twisted Origins, Dueling Dragons Choose Thy Fate, Yeti Campground Kills, The Darkest Deal, and Blood Moon Dark Offerings.
So Stranger Things, because I love Stranger Things.
Is your number one most looked for?
I don't think I've got a number one.
Okay.
Although I am really looking forward to Dr. Oddfellow because I quite like the background story.
So Dr. Oddfellow Twisted Origins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stranger Things. And...
Oh, we have confirmed, actually, sorry, that Jack the Clown will feature inside Dr. Oddfellow Twisted Origins. However, it's likely just to be a projection rather than Jack the Clown himself.
Yeah.
Sorry, you said Stranger Things, Dr. Oddfellow Twisted Origins.
And Chucky.
And Chucky.
I think Chucky's going to be the scariest house.
I think it's going to be a cool house. Surprisingly, because you don't really like Chucky.
No, but I think it's going to be the scariest because I'm not going to have a clue
What's going on?
what's real.
If they deliver on that, I think it's going to be incredible.
Because Horror Night scares me anyway because,
Yeah, and that is literally your biggest fear about going, is that some random
someone's going to
Universal
kill me.
Team member is just going to stab you in the face.
Yeah, literally. And that house is my worst fear come to life. But considering the hype around it, I'm not that excited about The Last of Us house.
No, I know what you mean. I think it'll be good though.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's zombies. Zombies don't really. I know it's a twist on zombies, but it's still zombies. I would say, for me, going from number 10 backwards, I'm going to try and do this. Last one, Blood Moon Dark Offerings, which is the colonial moon worshippers.
Oh.
Then probably...
I think my last one would be the monsters.
Yeah, okay. That's your number 10.
Yeah.
Okay. So number 10 is, for me, is Blood Moon Dark Offerings. Number 9, probably Yeti Campground Kills.
Okay.
Then probably The Exorcist Believer.
Really?
I haven't seen the film. I've seen the trailer. I mean, The Exorcist hasn't been good since the original.
What
really.
have you got against The Exorcist?
I haven't got anything against The Exorcist.
You didn't even like the original Exorcist.
I did like the original
You
Exorcist.
didn't.
No, the film that I watched with you was not the original Exorcist.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
It wasn't.
Okay.
Anyway, that's my number 8. Number 7, probably The Darkest Deal. I'm excited for that house though. Like, we're starting to get where it's quite tricky for me to
Oh, I forgot about that one.
decide.
That's got to be up there as well.
Up there for you, that one.
Yeah.
Number 6 is probably...
Although I can't imagine it being scary.
I think The Last of Us, number 6.
Mm.
Like, again, like, I'm sure it's going to be cool. I love the game, but I don't think it's going to be that scary. Then probably Stranger Things at number 5. Love Stranger Things. It's going to be a cool house.
Number 5.
Yeah. Oh, no, sorry. Universal Monsters Unleashed, number 5. Then Stranger Things at number 4. Then I think Dr. Oddfellow Twisted Origins at number 3.
Yeah.
Dueling Dragons Choose Thy Fate at number 2.
That's got to be number 9.
I think it's going to be a really cool house. And, like, I tend to agree with you. Chucky Ultimate Kill Count, 2 reasons. 1, I think the house concept sounds amazing. 2, he's my favourite horror villain. And to see him in a house, I think it's going to... I hope if they deliver it, it's going to be amazing. Anything else you wanted to say on Horror Nights before we call it?
I think so.
Yeah, when you're looking forward to it.
Yeah, I haven't been for ages, and the last year's didn't sound that great.
I mean, but as someone like who's been to... You've been to one of them, haven't you?
Only one, yeah. And it was terrifying.
Yeah. And compared to Mickey's Not So Scary, I know one's
I
know one's family
one's
friendly.
Disney.
Yeah, but lots of people at this time of year, there's people on Twitter all the time saying, "I'm going to Orlando. They haven't got kids with them, or our kids are older. I can only afford to go to one. Which would you choose?"
Halloween Horror Night.
Halloween Horror Nights. I would as well.
But because I love horror.
But I think
if you're someone who doesn't like horror, then you're not going to choose it, are you?
No, I mean, if you hate horror, obviously don't go to it.
It is scary. It's not just something they put on for Halloween, but it is really scary.
Yeah. It is.
If they do it right.
If they do it right. Last year, I think, was...
The one I went to was really scary.
But this year does look really good. I mean, I would agree. I think we've been to more Mickey Not So Scary than Horror Nights, but that's because we've only recently, relatively speaking, got into Horror Nights. Then COVID hit.
And you don't like horror?
Well, no. Well, I don't mind. I love Horror Nights. Yeah,
but generally speaking,
no,
you've never been a horror fan.
Love Horror Nights. And then last year I did go. I know you didn't, but... so this will be my
4th event.
Yeah.
Since we got into it. I wish we got into it a lot sooner than we did.
I suggested we went
You did,
a long time ago, and you didn't want to because you were too scared.
Yeah, and I've said that on the podcast before, so that's not. You look like you were breaking some news story there.
No, you said you wish we'd got into it sooner, so I said,
100%. I really do wish that we had. But if someone asked me what's the best value for money, is Horror Nights every day of the week. It's cheaper. Good. It changes every year, and Disney hasn't changed Mickey's Not So Scary in 10 years. And I'm talking proper change, not a slight tweak to a menu or adding some character to a parade. That's not a change.
What would you change, though?
I don't know. Maybe change some of the candy at least. It's getting worse every year.
Yeah, all they do is Snickers now.
Yeah. They could do something different, couldn't they?
Yeah, they could.
I mean, I'm not an Imagineer.
They're not changing it and putting the price up, isn't really.
Well, not changing it and putting the price up every year is a pretty big deal.
But if you've got kids...
If you've got kids and you've never been to it before, and there'll be people listening that I've advised go to Mickey's Not So Scary. If you have got kids and you're going to Orlando for the first time or the first time with your kids, Mickey's Not So Scary is a fantastic event. Like, if we had the money, we're still thinking about it this year. It's amazing. We do love it, but it's very expensive for what you get now. That's what I would say.
Yeah, it is.
If you've been before.
Yeah.
If you've not been, it's an amazing experience. It's still expensive though.
It's very expensive.
But the parade is the best that Disney puts on in Orlando.
But back to your original question, Halloween Horror Nights.
Halloween Horror Nights, definitely. Thank you very much for listening, and thank you Universal for inviting us to the event, for giving us some amazing canapes, for giving us, or me, I should say, some champagne and lots of alcohol, and for us to have an opportunity to meet the Phantom from Phantom of the Opera, and for the amazing interview that we got with Laura. If you do have questions about the event, please just find us on Twitter or on Instagram. Just search for Theme Park Trader. And if you've enjoyed today's show, please do leave us a review. It would very much upset Dan if we got way more reviews this week when he's away. So please leave us a review, and we will see you again next week.